Alright, boys. Another day, another cut content from AniNews. Today, we actually do have a cut content. It is actually episode 2 cut content. Episode 1 did not have a cut content. So, today, we have Subaru's disturbing deaths from the Archbishop of Wrath. Seems like our boy AniNews going more into depth into what the fuck happened to our boy Subaru, man. Let's get into it.
Wrath introduces something entirely new to Subaru. The way her power constantly resonates back and forth leads to this infinitely growing sense of whatever emotion Sirius wants him to feel. It's this mental torture that's explored more deeply in the novels, along with the whole fight that we didn't get to see. Subaru had actually channeled his inner Indiana Jones and faced off head-to-head with Sirius in a way that was somewhat impressive.
What?
Sure, it may have just ended up with him dying anyway, but his whole approach towards it highlighted just how much he'd grown. So, as I go through that and all the other little details, hopefully you enjoy seeing everything the anime left out from the novels. I'll be making—
I'm too low? Gotcha. I think I should be good.
Enjoy seeing everything the anime left out from the novels. I'll be making these every week for every episode, so feel free to subscribe if you want to know everything there is to know about ReZero. Let's get started. Episode 52, Decisive End of Ice and Fire, covering chapters 1 and 2 from volume 17 of the light novel.
We might just do... We could do Ekenut. Like, we could just, like, do both his episodes. Like, I could just, like, after this, we just go to Ekenut. We'll do Ekenut, don't worry, guys.
With Subaru having returned from death for the first time in a year, you'd be surprised to know the emotion he was feeling now was anger. It wasn't so much this grim despair or uncertain confusion, but instead this endless resentment towards the fact that he had died. You see, it was over a year ago that Subaru vowed never to plunge headfirst into death again, yet only moments ago he walked right into it. His resolve to challenge every hardship and ordeal with every ounce of strength he had was effectively rendered meaningless in the face of who he now knew as Wrath. So, for him to fail the pledge he'd made back during the witch's trial in Sanctuary, well, that overwhelmed him with both shame and anger.
Can't blame him. It's also just annoying. Like, you know, a year, right? A whole year. Like, that's a lot of time, bro. That's a long-ass time without dying. For him. For him, obviously, that's not a regular occurrence. But for Subaru, 1 year of no death is absolutely fucking insane. And the streak being broken just, like, obviously just fills them with fucking anger, bro. Fair enough. And also, the fact that he doesn't obviously want to go head first into death and danger like before, and he pretty much just did that now, so unfortunate.
It was a brutal combination that would have resulted in self-loathing next, if not for Subaru realizing how little time he had. Before, all his save points were hours to days before the moment of his death, but this time it was only minutes.
Exactly. That's the big point. That's the big thing about this entire situation. The checkpoint is literally minutes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, we still don't know how checkpoints actually work, right? Like, they're random. Like, there's no real actual, like, explanation to how the checkpoints work, or like why they specifically happen at specific times, or they're like different. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. But it just sucks that this one is like actually like probably like the least time we got. There is? I mean, if it's a spoiler, probably not, right? If it's like a very far spoiler, then hopefully. Depends. Oh, it's a spoiler? Okay, fuck that then. Depends on Satella's mood. Nice.
It was a brand new challenge that Subaru had never faced before. Now, it was during all this that Priscilla couldn't even be bothered, and that actually went to comfort Subaru a bit. The way it was so in character for her just put him at ease. This helped him to compose his thoughts and eventually led to his decision to try things solo. Normally, Subaru would have had no problem asking Beatrice for help, but because Emilia was a likely target, he couldn't risk having her be by herself.
Yeah.
Ever since what had happened to Rem, Subaru was constantly fearful of a similar fate befalling Emilia. He was so traumatized by that the fear of what could happen drowned out any thoughts of what should happen.
Man, you would have... Imagine if, like, this Rem should happen to Emilia. Well, it's not gonna happen because the story, right? She's the main girl, but you know what I mean. Like, think about it for a sec, bro. You imagine if we got Who is Emilia? Who is Emilia? How would Subaru even feel, bro?
He didn't ever think that way with Beatrice, though, since regardless of what danger awaited them, Subaru knew his fate was intertwined with hers now. His sentiments towards her wouldn't ever stop him from fighting with her, since their relationship had crossed that line of resolve long ago. They were truly a team that would face everything together. Fast forward now to the confrontation in the tower, and this is where the biggest portion of content was cut. Not only did Subaru approach the whole thing completely different, but his end was a lot more disturbing than what we saw.
Oh.
So it was as Subaru rushed there that he contemplated what happened in the last loop. He didn't know exactly how it was he died, but what he did know was that Sirius induced some type of mental corruption. He had essentially lost his mind, and that made remembering things a lot more difficult. Since the memories he retained after death were influenced by his state during the moment of death, that made assuming anything from the last loop very risky.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about it like that. So, like, the fact that, like, he was, like, affected back then, like, during, like, those, like, during that moment, when he reset, he was, like, he kind of just, like, struggled to, like, remember and shit. That's crazy.
That being the case, choosing how to approach this loop was gonna be a lot harder. Like, he could cause a commotion and scatter everyone away from the tower, but that would only end up delaying things.
Yeah.
Sirius clearly didn't have a specific target in mind, so if her show didn't happen here, then Subaru knew it would just happen somewhere else. It was a hollow victory that didn't change anything. Not the type of win that Subaru would be satisfied with. So, Subaru would be a bit more proactive and scope out the tower, until finding that the door was open. Inside was surprisingly empty, since the magical nature of the clock meant that no mechanical pieces were necessary. It made it so the only things present were the support pillars and a massive staircase. It was a hollow tower in which only his footsteps echoed.
Yikes.
Eventually, Subaru had climbed to the point where he could hear Luzbel, but rather than him being by himself, Subaru could also hear the ramblings of the person who captured him.
Oh boy.
Right there with Luzbel was Sirius telling him just how proud she was of him. The tone sounded very reassuring, but the actual words were more like a blessing and a curse.
Don't cry, don't wail, and don't make a fuss. You truly are a good child, a strong child who protected someone precious to you. Surely your family and even your younger brothers and sisters you have never set eyes upon will always think of you with pride. Why is pride mentioned again? See what I mean?
It made it clear that the person speaking wasn't sane at all. It was from here that Subaru would have to approach quietly, putting to action the silent stepping lessons he was taught by Clind, Subaru's mentor and a steward serving AniNews.
Okay.
He's the one who's been training Subaru, and in addition to teaching him how to walk quietly, he's also the one who taught him how to use his whip.
What? Were we ever gonna know this? Is this actually just like stuff they cut out? What's his name again? Clinton? Clind? I don't know if the subs are fucking me up. Let me hear that again.
He was taught by Clind.
Clind. I don't know why it says Clinton. Clind. Okay, so Clind here taught our boy Subaru and was the trainer. Okay.
Subaru's mentor and a steward serving AniNews. He's the one who's been training Subaru, and in addition to teaching him how to walk quietly, he's also the one who taught him how to use his whip. A weapon Subaru was now proficient with, enough to be deemed somewhat decent. It's not like he was an expert, but he did possess a level of mastery that was considered acceptable. The whip itself was a bullwhip just like Indiana Jones's, except Subaru's was a bit longer, making it slightly more difficult to use.
Okay.
It was a custom gift from Clind, serving as a sort of graduation present.
I see.
One that bore the name of the demon beast it was crafted from. As for why Subaru chose the whip, well, as a weapon well suited for tricks and feints, it fit nicely with Subaru's own style of fighting. He knew he couldn't compete against swordsmen in a sword fight, but perhaps something like a whip could make things a bit more even. So if there was any weapon that could match his cunning, the whip was certainly one of the best candidates. It also gave him the ability to quickly land hits against opponents that were stronger than him.
That's pretty cool though. I fuck with this. That's honestly fucking cool. I fuck with that shit. Hey, as long as Subaru got a weapon, bro.
So, as Subaru slowly crept up behind Sirius, he first made sure he was within range to land an attack, then quickly wound his whip in a way that emphasized speed over force. He wasn't so strong that he could knock someone out instantly with it, but if he could at least restrain his target before they noticed, then that on its own was a significant advantage for him. He was hoping to grab hold of Sirius, then toss her over the banister.
Oh.
It was before the whip could even wrap itself around Sirius's neck, though, that Sirius would already be asking Subaru why he was so angry.
Oh.
She hadn't even turned around, yet somehow she knew that Subaru was in the middle of attacking her.
GG's.
That's when she would deflect the whip with her own chains, entangling the two together, making both of them useless. Fortunately, this worked in Subaru's favor, since all he had to do now was tug to force her off balance. It was just enough to make her stumble and give Subaru the opportunity to tackle her. A powerful charge that would send her over the banister anyway. That's when Subaru would finally start to save the spell, leading to the events that we saw in the anime. If you're wondering how Sirius was able to find her way back up, well, somehow she'd managed to fling her chain, pull Subaru down, then use the resulting force to propel herself back up.
What the
She'd
fuck?
essentially hit Subaru with the Uno reverse card and left him for death by what was essentially a barbed hanging.
Damn.
This wasn't what made this death so grisly though, since in the midst of Sirius revealing her power, Subaru was descending into a form of madness completely different from the first one. With his and Luspel's fear bouncing back and forth stacking on top of each other, the cascading effect it had on Subaru's mind made him lose his very sense of self.
Jesus.
For him, everything in this moment was now fear. From Sirius's voice to the air itself, absolutely everything, no matter how minute, terrified Subaru down to his very core. Like, he wanted to close his eyes and see no more, but even the dark went to scare him too.
My god.
It was after that the thought of never seeing light again scared him, then it was this thought process that kept spiraling out of control.
Dude, that sounds fucking horrible. So that's really the true extent of fear, bro. Like, the way he's like explaining it, the way he's like going into detail about it is like crazy. Fear of the world, yeah. In the anime, it was kind of just like more of like specific to a person, like how a person feels, but fear of the world is crazy.
It went on and on until fear in its purest form became the only thing that Subaru could comprehend anymore.
Oof.
To him, fear was the only truth now.
Subaru could only comprehend fear. That was the only truth. What the fuck?
So, in the end, Subaru didn't know whether he died from hanging or terror-induced cardiac arrest, but what he did know was that he never wanted to feel that way again. The way he lost everything that made him who he was, made him realize that maybe he should ask for help.
Yep, as soon as that shit happens, he needs to ask for help, bro. And also, shit like that, bro, every time he comes back, he's just gonna feel worse and worse, bro.
Luckily, that experience wasn't all for naught, since Subaru now understood a bit of Sirius's resonance ability. He figured it was an authority that let her manipulate people's emotions. He wasn't quite sure how it worked, but the fact it affected him went to show that he wasn't immune to authorities like how he hoped he was. Ever since he was able to resist the authority of Sloth, Subaru hoped his connection to the witches would allow him to resist all the other Archbishop's authorities.
That would be amazing. That would be so good, bro. That'd be so peak. But maybe it's just not that good. Maybe it's not meant to be, bro. Maybe that would be too broken, huh? If Subaru was just immune and resist any fucking authority. Nah, it's not gonna happen.
Sirius had unfortunately proved this otherwise, but that in itself was valuable information too. Now, regardless of how it was activated, the current circumstances made for quite the interesting predicament. What I mean is that, while yes, Subaru could defeat Sirius by blowing up the entire tower, to do so would mean sacrificing Luspel. To some, this could be seen as a necessary sacrifice, but to Subaru that was an outcome that he would never accept.
No.
Reason being that it went against everything he now currently stood for. Ever since he made up his mind to not sacrifice himself, Subaru believed he had no right to force others to either. So if
that's a good line right there. Yeah, man, that promise he made to himself, it still bothers him, huh? Ever since he made up his mind to not sacrifice, Subaru believed he had no right to force others to either. Damn. I mean, fair enough, right? Hey, respect to Subaru, though.
So, if saving one life meant saving many, to Subaru, losing that one life was like giving up on the world. He pretty much possessed the exact opposite view of Kuritsugu. That being the case, overall this was a very tough situation.
100%.
It wasn't quite enough to induce that level of despair yet, though, since if he couldn't pull this off, then Subaru knew he would question his value as Emilia's knight.
Ooh, that's also another thing, huh? The whole knight thing. He literally is the knight now, and it's gonna fuck him up. He's Emilia's knight, and his view of himself as a knight is gonna get affected by the fact that if he's helpless and he can't solve the problems that he's going head first into, it's gonna fuck him up.
It was a train of thought that led directly to Reinhardt. Dying twice made him forget that he was even an option, but after racking his mind hard, the obvious answer became clear. Bringing us now to Subaru's third encounter in the square.
He's greedy.
It was Subaru's concern here that had actually gone to confuse me a bit, since I didn't think, or at least I wasn't aware, that there was in fact a penalty just for sharing information gained via return by death.
Exactly. So we're both confused. We were both confused. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. And the reaction, when I saw this, I was like, I mean, yeah. I low-key thought it was just return by death. So like, why the fuck would spreading information be a problem? You know what I mean?
I wasn't aware that there was in fact a penalty just for sharing information gained via return by death. Personally, I thought it was just about return by death itself, but Subaru was very anxious about revealing information he learned from return by death.
What?
It's something I swear we've seen him do numerous times before. In any case, it turns out that despite Subaru not having died in over a year, there were numerous times throughout where, when discussing return by death, the penalty for doing so would thoroughly torment him. There was this one instance where he tried to reveal it to Beatrice, only to experience hell-like pain for quite a few moments after.
What?
It didn't make him any less willing to share everything with Beatrice though, so as long as there wasn't any true consequential suffering, Subaru was still committed to sharing everything with her.
Interesting. I mean, again, it's just like, as long as you... The limit here is like, don't tell someone like Emilia, for example, back in like season 1 episode 17, right? That episode where he literally told Emilia directly and she died. Like, when it gets to that point, it's just GG's, no? So like, if you can just like make a workaround and get around the actual like saying it, then it should be fine. It should be good.
This did actually help to teach Subaru something, and that was that the severity of the penalty differed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could kind of see that though, right? The penalty differed, of course. It's been different a lot of times. That one time when he was in the bed, like literally the first time he said it, right, to Emilia, in like arc 2, he literally said he was gonna say it, and then like he just felt fear. But then like there's a limit. Like if he really tries to go beyond and like actually tries it, the person dies for the looks of it, and we saw what happened with Emilia. So the condition on his power is not to let anyone know. It's not to let anyone know. Is to not tell anybody. Okay, interesting. The wording there. The condition on his power is not to let anyone know. Is to not tell anybody. I see. That's so crazy.
Depending on the level of detail being shared about return by death, along with who exactly it was he was telling it to.
Yeah, it's the details and the person you're telling it to. Those two things matter.
The level of suffering would change accordingly. These were the two factors in which the penalty was directly proportional to.
Yeah.
So, sharing information with someone like Ratchins wouldn't be as severe as sharing it with someone like Emilia. It was an interesting connection Subaru constantly had to worry about. One that signified the degree of what Subaru could share depended solely on the whims of the witch.
What the fuck? That's crazy. Dude, so like, who would be like the, so like, I mean, that's an example right there. Mr. Dumber, right? So what? It literally all depends on, obviously we have the details, but like the person. So is that why like he told Emilia and like she just died? What the fuck, dude?
Luckily, Subaru could share quite a bit with Rachin, so in addition to what he said in the anime, Subaru also explained who was going to attack and when it was going to happen. He had essentially given full context on everything. Sirius's entrance after was pretty much the same, except for an additional line indicating a potential mind-reading ability. I don't know if that's actually what it was, but somehow she knew that someone was thinking about her with more intensity than expected.
Bro, if she has mind reading, bro, like, can we nerf her? Yo, somebody take away like her powers, bro. Like, this is too much.
A clear indicator that perhaps it's not just emotions that she can share. It was when Reinhardt showed up shortly after that he immediately deduced how it was Sirius's authority actually worked. Unlike how Subaru thought it was by looking her way or hearing her voice, it was instead through the mere fact of knowing that she existed. Anyone who had
mere fact of knowing that she existed, bro. Dude, this is crazy. Dude, like, this power is so broken, man. Like, what the fuck, bro?
acknowledged her in any way whatsoever was fair game to become affected by her. It was a crazy power that even Reinhardt was wary of. I'm sure this was him just being humble, but the thought of even him not being immune really worried Subaru.
Oh my god, if Reinhardt's not immune... If Reinhardt's not really being humble and he's being deadass, and he actually has a counter, like he can't do anything, just say GG's. If Reinhardt can't do shit, it's actually just over. Literally just fold yourself, bro.
Sirius would then talk to Reinhardt a little bit more, basically saying how he was the ideal manifestation of everything she preached about. The way the masses came together to love him specifically really resonated with the love that Sirius liked to talk about all day. This conversation didn't really last much longer though, as Reinhardt would quickly engage in what can only be described as aerial combat. I know to us that doesn't seem very ridiculous, but to Subaru, Reinhardt's power was just becoming absurd now. The way he handled Sirius's chains was pretty crazy too, since with only his foot, he was able to gain complete control over them. It was a feat that made Subaru think Reinhardt was a literal superhero now.
You might as well be. It's just like... little superhero. Maybe not, because like, if he was actually a superhero, he would save people. I mean, maybe he does. I'm just saying, like, it's funny that every time we have like a big moment or like anything going on, he's not there, bro.
The rest of the fight was pretty much the same, aside from Lucebel bearing the first signs that injury was shared with Sirius too. Although Subaru didn't understand at the time, when saving Lucebel there were bruises on his arm that weren't there before. Injuries that are later hinted as one Sirius received during her fight with Reinhardt. Sirius also didn't just accept her fate either, and instead actually tried to flee by propelling herself away with her chains.
What the fuck?
Reinhardt of course caught her instantly, then chopped her in half along with everyone else.
She tried to Yo, what a pussy, man. Come on, man.
It was the first time that Subaru had ever died so cleanly. A demise so quick that rather than pain, the only thing Subaru could feel after was surprise. This did, however, provide the information he needed to understand how he died in the first loop, so now he knew Sirius's power wasn't just a resonance of emotions, but also a transference of physical conditions too. It was enough of a problem to get Subaru to seek out more help.
Crazy.
It was in this scene that
not even just emotions, it's also physical, bro. Like, how's that even fair? It's both. Emotionally and physically, you're cooked, bro.
I was hoping to find more information on Reinhardt's power, but what we saw was pretty much all we got.
Damn.
His dominion over mana made everyone else's non-existent. Sure, this was definitely OP, but at the same time it was also very much inconvenient.
Yeah. It's like, it's broken? For him. Like, for him, it's good. He gets stronger, but if we need like help or backup, no one's gonna be able to do shit, dude. Damn, that really is very inconvenient, huh? Motherfucker's so strong, too strong, that it actually affects your own allies too. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
It made it so none of Subaru's allies could stand on the same field together. Individually, they were all very much formidable, but together, well, there was no plan Subaru could come up with which would let them all reach their true potential. Now, after there was this whole conversation about how Sirius's authority was similar to the high-level spell Nect, leading to the basis behind why Shamak should work against it. Since that whole theory was immediately disproved though, I can see why the anime decided to cut it. Sirius's authority was more a curse that manipulated the soul itself.
More a curse that manipulated the soul itself. Okay.
Not some heretical abuse of a spell that let you share senses. That's why Shamak wouldn't work against it. This brings us
I think something like that was said, but like I like how you said it there.
To Emilia, whose astute observation highlighted Subaru's emotions right now. The reason she could tell that Subaru was about to cry was because deep down Subaru was terrified. He'd just died 3 times in an hour, which was far more death than he was used to.
3 deaths. Okay, wait. Let's actually think about this for a sec. 3 deaths in an hour, right? That's what he said? 3 deaths in an hour? 3 times in an hour. Has that ever happened to him? Has he ever died 3 times in an hour just like that consecutively? Another interesting point is we've only seen Reinhardt be a woman with a sword. Maybe he's a misogynist. Yo, you are too deep in, bro. 1 more, we're cooked. 3 deaths under an hour. It's just like, I think the worst part of it all is the fact that like not only is it so much death, it's the fact that like he experiences this a year, bro, a year after not feeling or like not having any death, and you literally like now just like get back to back deaths, bro. I'd be so mad, bro.
Which was far more death than he was used to. That's not to say that he would ever get used to dying, but to do so often was far more than what he'd handled before.
Exactly.
His future was constantly being robbed from him in a way that was unacceptable. His soul defiled and his vow completely shattered. This is what it meant every time he died, so to have his existence trampled like that didn't really sit well with him.
Of course, dude. Like, it's annoying. It's so fucked up, man. Literally, what a way to put it. His future keeps getting stolen every time. Like, he can't move on. He's just stuck in time in a way. He's stuck in place, bro. Damn, I never really thought about it like that, huh? He technically can't really ever have a normal life. Like, he can't, like, the events don't move normally. They don't move forward normally like we do in like our regular life, dude. Like every minute, like we just keep going, like, you know what I mean? Like we keep going forward normally, bro. Subaru, there's a certain point where something happens so bad that he probably just dies over and over again. He can't get past that, bro. And he can't just keep going forward, bro. Like, that's so fucked, man. That fucks up, bro. That might fucks up his brain so much, man.
Fast forward to the actual fight now, and Sirius didn't come out unscathed by Emilia's attack. Half her bandages were soaked in blood, her left arm dangled as if broken, and her demeanor clearly unsteady and battered. What shocked Subaru more than that, though, was the way that Sirius just completely ignored him.
Yeah.
She didn't even register that he was there, but instead focused solely on Emilia and Beatrice.
Of course.
The fight itself showcased Emilia's brand new style of combat, which Subaru himself dubbed as Ice Brand Arts.
Do I listen to Subaru? Do we just call it Ice Brand Arts? Do we call it Ice Brand Arts, y'all?
It was a way of fighting that took full advantage of her massive mana capacity. One that constantly reformed her weapons, allowing her to launch high-speed combo attacks.
Yeah, I noticed that. Reform the weapons. She kept like switching between them. It's pretty cool.
She would go in fully intending to break her weapons of ice, then immediately reshape them into something new. To Subaru, it was a beautiful display that made him feel like he was watching a fairy dance. To others, this was more a dance of ice and fire. It was in the meantime that Subaru was dealing with Sirius's soul-washed minions, tossing who he could into the waterway, then literally parkouring his way up to Luzbel. It was yet another one of the skills that Clint had taught him, and Subaru was making sure to make good use of it here.
Dude, that's so cool. Clint, the unsung hero, bro. Bro, I would have never known about him if I wasn't out here watching AniNews. Bro, does that mean that, like, anime onlys, like, purely just, like, anime and they don't go anywhere else? They don't even know, bro? Like, what the fuck?
Now, there is a bit more to Emilia's fight, but that's actually something that I'm gonna save for next week since I'm not sure if they'll include it in the next episode or not. So, for now, that's everything about Season 3, Episode 2, and pretty much all that I gotta say for it. If you liked the video, then leave a like, and if you want to see more, then consider subscribing.
Alright. Yeah, Subaru is too much of a background character to Sirius. That's so fucked up. Bro, she didn't even give a fuck, man. God damn, bro. Alright, well, that is gonna be it for today's cut content. Thank you so much, AniNews, once again, for coming in clutch with the cut content. Another season of AniNews, man. Y'all enjoy these reactions and you'll new, subscribe, leave a like down below. The full uncut version to all ReZero content will be on Patreon. As always, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.